He says, when I received my diagnosis 3 years ago, after 27 years, my world changed. I want to share a powerful and awe-inspiring story with you. A story of how riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, transporter deficiency has affected my children's lives. My hope is that you will be enlightened in some capacity and that awareness will be brought to this life-threatening neurodegenerative genetic disorder. By this, I mean they progressively lose their abilities, such as hearing, vision, muscle function, breathing, and swallowing. RTD, however, does not affect cognitive function. My journey began in 1985 when I married this amazing man, my best friend, almost 34 years ago. Almost 2 years later, my twin boys were born healthy. We were overjoyed and elated. Suddenly, at the age of 22 months, our lives changed forever. Tyson and David began stumbling and falling, their hearing ceased, and we had to learn sign language in order to communicate with them effectively. Eventually, they needed wheelchairs as their muscles weakened and their walking ceased. Doctors did numerous tests, but all they could tell us is that they had a degenerative neuromuscular disease of unknown origin. What does that mean? I asked. Being only 24 and never been exposed to anything like this, I began to ask numerous questions. The doctor told Steve and I that usually with this type of disease, children don't live long. My dreams were shattered. As parents, we all want our children to have healthy and productive lives as possible. An overwhelming sense of loss and hopelessness ensued. David received a trach and a ventilator to assist with breathing and a feeding tube placed in his stomach for nutrition, as he was not able to swallow. Tyson did not require a trach at that time. However, he needed oxygen and had a tube placed in his stomach as well. Many treatments were tried, but still no improvements. Doctors gave us little hope. I lamented at the thought of losing both of my sons. A glimmer of hope, however, one day came one morning. I entered David's room in the ICU. He had been there for almost 5 months. David was initiating more breaths on his own, and his trach eventually came out. Both of their swallowing improved, and their tubes were removed from the stomach. With tenacity and perseverance, their walking improved, but with an unstable gait. Thus began the arduous process of countless therapies for years to come. Throughout the years, their vision deteriorated, and they were legally blind by the age of 11. On September 24th, forgive me if I cry, 2002, my precious David passed away due to complications of the disorder. I remember vividly sitting in the hospital 2 weeks before he died, and he asked the nurse if she knew who Jesus was. He wanted everyone to know that they had hope in eternal life in heaven. He loved life, and he loved people. He was smart, tender-hearted, and always had a passion to help others. Grief touched the deepest part of my soul. My faith sustained me, and I knew I had to be strong for Tyson and Paige. Almost 10 years ago, Tyson required a trach and vent for breathing. A feeding tube was placed for nutrition, and 6 months later, Paige also required a trach and vent due to respiratory problems. A year later, Paige received a feeding tube for nutrition, but after a year, her swallowing improved, and she eats and drinks anything she wants, especially eggnog, right, Paige, at this time of year? That's her favorite.
Yes, of course.
On August 31st, 2016, Joni Erickson Tata contacted me by email and told me about a young woman and man that reminded her of Tyson and Paige. 27 years without a diagnosis, and finally maybe we would have a diagnosis. I contacted the Haller family, who have been a great support. I then contacted Dr. Sanchez, our geneticist, and their blood and urine were sent to California. 3 weeks later, we had a diagnosis, RTD type 2. Emotions consumed me. I think I was in shock. What's exciting about RTD is there a potential for improvement, but not a cure. Cure RTD funds research to try and find a cure for this disorder. Keith Massey has been instrumental in putting families together. He is very passionate about it because his daughter also has RTD as well. He has been a huge support to our family. Thank you, Keith, the Griffiths, the Greens, the Fitzgeralds, and Carly Gilbert, who make up this phenomenal team at Cure RTD. Tyson and Paige, I'm going to switch over to what they're doing now with the vitamins. They have been on a cocktail, like a Mita cocktail of vitamins for 3 years. They were on Riboflavin 3 times a day, and the last 6 months it has increased to 6 times a day. Since beginning the vitamin therapy, I have seen improvements in both Tyson and Paige. They are both on different ventilators now, which allow them to take more breaths on their own. Respiratory infections have decreased. Their neck and their trunk strength has improved. And I wanted to just show you how Paige's arm is moving after 10 years. Paige, can you just move your arm for everybody so they can see it? Move your arm. She has not been able to do that in 10 years.
Did you guys see that?
Did everyone see that?
Paige, can you do that one more time?
Here. Show them. See how she's moving her arms? So she's not been able to do that. So that's amazing. And I do want to also stress that they do take a Mita cocktail, which includes vitamin E, methionine, vitamin C, vitamin B2, which is riboflavin, and CoQ10 and levocarnitine, and there's one other that I can't, a complex, vitamin B. Anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. Anyway, Tyson is beginning to stand and pivot, and this is thrilling. Look how he can move each individual finger, which shows his fine motor skills. Can you show them how you're moving your fingers? He has not been able to do that for years. What? He said that last. Yeah, he says this just started happening after he started taking his riboflavin 6 times a day, and that's been since April. Anyway, we also have seen improvements in vision, and this may seem small improvements to us, but this is huge and encouraging for them. When Paige was 16, she told me she wrote a book and she wanted it published. I asked her, what will you do if you make money? She told me, I don't want to keep it, Mom. I want to help others. I was like, wow, my daughter's heart is big. I supported her goals and remained positive. With the diligent help from her art teacher and interpreters, she now has 2 children's books published. Remember that saying, an elephant never forgets? Well, he is that elephant. He's a jokester, and he makes everybody laugh. Tyson started his journey about 6 years ago, and he took online Bible classes through Biblical Training Institute. He was even awarded the Ambassador at Large Award. Tyson also has a passion and a zeal to encourage and tell others about God. He's a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan, all right. And his room proves it. The Gators and Bucks are a top priority as well. His attire always revolves around who is playing that day or night. And that's funny, yes. They both inspire and encourage me daily to be a better mom. Thank you both for making my world a brighter place. Has this journey been difficult? Yes, it has. Life has thrown us many challenges, even in our marriage. Our faith and trust in God has sustained us even in the darkest times. We have had excellent support from my family, especially my dad, who is not with us, and my mom, Anne-Marie, Colleen, my sisters, friends, and nurses. Thank you to my husband, Steve, behind me, for supporting me, encouraging me, and putting up with me all these years. I don't know what to do without my partner in crime. Lastly, through the eyes of this mother, I find encouragement and the hope that they will one day find a cure for RTD. I just want